this video, I'm going to tell you about the options you have to transport and store your miniatures. I've had a lot of questions lately coming in through Twitter and through email and through Facebook and things like that. People asking, and in comments as well down below, people asking me questions about different things in the hobby. One of the big ones lately has been about transporting your miniatures. How do you take your miniatures from, let's say, your house to the shop, or from your house to your buddy's house, or maybe on a plane to a big tournament or whatever? And there's obviously a lot of different options out there. Everything from, I have seen people come to the local game store and bring egg cartons, like recycled egg cartons, and in each little egg carton thing there is a Space Marine or an Orc or whatever. And that's, that's fine as long as you're not, if you're careful with anything, pretty much, you can put them in a shoebox as long as you're careful, but sometimes you can't be careful. Sometimes you fall down the stairs, or trip going up the stairs, or step on a cat. So what kind of options have you got for trying to carry around the miniatures that you've spent so much time on, so much time and love and the painting and all that? The big one generally you see are foam trays. There are many, many different types of foam trays. And when I say tray, I don't mean like a lunch tray or something like that. They're generally shaped something like this. They come in all kinds of different lengths and widths and thicknesses. This is what's known as pick and pluck. It doesn't look like I've got any little chambers or anything. Where am I going to keep my models here? Well, if you look, you can see here it's all kind of perforated, so I can pluck out, I can pick which ones I want and pluck out the ones that I want to make myself kind of perfectly shaped little holes for my models, no matter what shape they might be. Then there's also, of course, laser cut foam. And this is an example of some older laser cut foam that I have customized a little bit myself, so I can carry my Varangard and some Space Marine captain dudes and all kinds of stuff when I travel. Being able to have either a choice of pick and pluck type foam or the laser cut foam, you've got lots of options there. These are generally a bit cheaper, and you can buy these ready to go, and then you are the ones that customize them when you get home. I did a video, I think, a long time ago about how to, work with pick and pluck and to kind of customize that. Pachow. But the fact is that the laser cut stuff, if you're trying to get a very specific shape and you want to really hold a model in perfect comfort, the laser cut stuff is nice, but of course it has a definite cost. Custom laser cut foam has a cost. Now you may say, well, I don't have a laser cutter. How am I going to laser cut all this foam? Well, luckily there are companies out there that can do it. This stuff is from Battle Foam. I have a lot of Battle Foam bags. This is not a sponsored video, but I've been a Battle Foam owner for quite some time. I've got this big thing, which is, I think, limited edition. You can't get anymore. My Shadespire bag is their Pack C4. I've got all the cards, all the tokens, the boards, and I think 2 different armies, all in this little tiny kind of skirmish bag. And they're great stuff. But there's a lot of different manufacturers out there that make different types of bags to work with either the pick and pluck type foam or the laser cut stuff. You've got a lot of options out there for this, and you want to find the one that you like the best type of foam, the best type of bag, the best price point, and then you can usually take that stuff, depending on the size of the bag, you can take that stuff on a plane, you can take it with you on a long car trip, you can just carry it down to your friend's house. But it will be protecting the models that you've spent so much time to try to perfect. Now, what if your models, though, are very, very delicate? And by delicate, I mean they're very spindly, they've got lots of extra bits, and you're concerned about putting them into a piece of foam and having them kind of rattle around in there as you travel. You're a little bit more concerned about that kind of damage that they can potentially get from the foam. Most models won't be affected by this, but there are some more spindly models that this can be a problem with. What you can do in that situation is you can magnetize your models. Now, what that means is this. On the bottom side of a model, in most situations, the base is an indent, and you can glue little, what they call rare earth magnets. And they're very, very strong magnets. You can glue them into the base of your model and then just attach it to a piece of metal. So now it's just sitting there, right? And it doesn't have anything touching it anywhere except on the base. And then as long as you can't throw around a bag that's got that kind of stuff going on, or a case, but you can easily carry it I wouldn't check it at the airline. I wouldn't even take it necessarily with you on a plane. That could be kind of tough, but it depends. But this kind of thing allows you with the magnets to put them on there and attach them. Now, I have seen people do this with a metal toolbox. You buy a big metal toolbox and then you just magnetize all your little folks onto the inside of the toolbox when you travel. But there are also definitely companies out there. Again, Battle Foam has got a Magna Rack, which is designed to fit inside the normal bags that you could normally carry foam in. So you can kind of alternate and decide, well, I want to have foam in it this week. And then when you take your Sylvaneth tree people who are very spindly and kind of delicate, you want to take them to the shop, well, then you can just throw in the Magna Rack and then they're all safe and sound. Those options are both, I think, pretty good options. And you should be able to find between either foam or magnets, you should be able to find something that's going to protect your models as you travel. Now you may ask, okay, well, do I want to go with a soft-sided bag? Or do I want to go with something that's a little bit harder? This is a Games Workshop Citadel hard plastic case, and on the inside it has foam, and it's laser cut, but it's not. GW does their own thing. They kind of have this sort of zigzaggy stuff, which allows you to sort of kind of squish things around and keep it all held in there. Some people like it, some don't. I kind of like it, but I really like this small kind of hard plastic case. Again, pretty much all the different companies out there that are bigger companies that make these kind of solutions either have soft bags, rigid soft bags where it's a cloth bag, but it's got like some sort of hard plastic in it in each panel to kind of keep it rigid, or the full-blown hard plastic cases. And this is a relatively plasticky kind of thing, but there are cases that go all the way up into metal and aluminum and stuff like that, depending on what you're going to do with your models, where you're going to take them, how you're going to get them there. Are you flying them? Are you shipping them there? There's a lot of different options available, but you can kind of customize based off of your need and also your price range when you're looking for this kind of stuff. But what if you're not really going anywhere? What if you just want to store your models, but you don't plan on really traveling with them too much? Well, a lot of people will take the foam trays that they normally, will use when they're traveling, and they will keep their models in those foam trays and then just put them on a shelf. Now, you do sometimes have to worry about dust and things like that, so there are cardboard boxes made by some of these companies that are also designed to be perfectly the size of the trays that they produce, so you can fit the trays in the cardboard box, and then you can kind of stack that on a shelf. But there are also plenty of people who like to keep their models. They want to keep them stored, but they also want people to be able to see them if possible. Nearly every person who's pretty serious about miniatures that I know uses this thing from IKEA. It's like $68. It's called the Deltoff or the Detloff, and it's something vaguely Swedish. And it's a heavy case. It's very, it's not something you carry around. I'm saying though, when you have to get it home though, it weighs a lot, but it's inexpensive, but it's a lot of glass. And it looks great, and it generally keeps dust off of your models. That's one of the big things. You could just put all your models out on the shelf and let people see them when they come over to your house, but the problem with that then is that you have to constantly be dusting them, because just sitting on the shelf, they're going to collect dust, and that really makes a model look kind of icky. So if you do want to keep them out and show them off to people, you want to store them, well, that's cool, but then you're going to probably want to keep them in some sort of case to keep the dust off of them, or else get used to constantly having to dust off your models, and then concern yourself about breaking off swords, breaking off horns, or whatever, that kind of stuff. So do some research, take a look, see what you think. If you're looking for specific trips just back and forth to your friends' houses, you can probably go a little bit cheaper. If you're going to be more traveling for competitions, you're going to tournaments and things like that, frequently on a plane, not only think about what's going to be the best protection bang for your buck, but also think about, is this something I can like use as a carry-on, or am I going to have to check it? And then you're going to want to be very kind of cautious about those things, the specific sizes. You can find that information if you go to the airlines' websites about what is a carry-on size and what is a check bag, and then kind of go from there. Finding something to protect your models is really important, though, because you've spent a ton of time on them and you really want them to look nice when you get to where you're going, because you're going to want to show them off to the people there. Even if it's just across town or if it's across the continent, find the materials, whether it's foam, whether it's magnets, whether it's all that kind of stuff, and find the type of case that makes you, happiest and you'll be real glad when you get to where you're going and your models are still in one piece.